get going. We know it's Wednesday afternoon on the last day, so thank you for coming out. It's very much appreciated. We're going to talk a little bit about ePUB today. Imagine many know it's a new ebook standard. It's an open standard, and currently ebook sales, if you're in the space, they're skyrocketing. It's the simplest way to put it. And to get into the space, I think now is a very good time. The Association of American Publishers, the AAP, they recently put out their 2008 statistics, and they mentioned that, or they clearly state that ebooks are the fastest growing segment within the publishing industry, where there's been decline in pretty much all other sectors, and there's been huge growth. So obviously the AAP is only getting US numbers, but they had their estimated 2008 sales at 113 million. There's more to the numbers than that. Just today, actually, the February wholesale trade numbers came out, and in case you've ever seen this graph previously, a couple of things you need to know. One is it's US dollars only. It's quite often quoted, and it's trade sales only. The higher education space and the library space are not included in these numbers. And more importantly, to recognize, there's actually only 13 trade publishers who are currently sharing their ebook information with the Association of American Publishers. So the graph that you see is a great trend indicator, but is not representative of the entire market. In the reference space, you have a company like O'Reilly Media. They're doing fantastic in the ebook space. Their numbers aren't counted in any way at this point. So work is being done behind the scenes so that more accurate numbers can come forth. But the important thing with this trend, especially if you look towards the right-hand side of the chart, is it's been the same 13 publishers supplying their numbers. So it is an accurate trend. February sales were up 133%, which is, again, not a number often heard in growth in the ebook space. In fact, January numbers, which would have been the original slide until today, January sales were actually up 173%. So again, this is tremendous growth. If you look at the last bar, the fourth quarter of 2008 had a total, and again, these are wholesale dollars, so you're assuming the 50% discount on the price was $16,600,000. Now, after just the February numbers, the wholesale value in the first 2 months of this quarter, $15,500,000. Assuming even if it's a similar 7.5 million, whatever, the chart will look vastly different next quarter. It was already a large spike in the fourth quarter of 2008. I think you can see we'll end up somewhere $22 to $24 million in the March, so you'll see an even larger spike to begin 2009. I want to talk about ePUB, the standard, just in general. It's an XML-based file format, and as it says, it's designed for the text to reflow. The easiest example to give, I believe, is everyone knows a PDF. It's the de facto standard for final form content. And if you go to read your PDF file, if you happen to have a small screen or a netbook or whatever you go to read it on, it's not unusual to find yourself going to the bottom right-hand corner, hitting the scroll button to the right, to the left, up and down, whatever necessary to see the content, because there's no flow. ePUB will reflow according to the size of the screen. So whether you're using a mobile phone, iPod Touch, the Sony reader, or if you're reading on a 30-inch monitor, the text will reflow according to the screen size. ePUB is based on open and non-proprietary standards. This is very important. So no one went and reinvented the wheel. XML, XHTML, cascading style sheets, various open standards that already exist. They've been the basis for the ePUB format. And they're non-proprietary. So if you're a publisher and you're going to use an open, non-proprietary standard, bottom line is there's no cost to you to use the standard. It's available to you. And obviously one of the benefits is you would no longer, if you use an open non-proprietary standard, you don't have to rely on the benevolence of another company to ensure that that format is available to you or anything happens with it. If you're a publisher, there's a few things you need to know in terms of how ePUB will help the publisher. Number one, it reduces the costs of conversions. In the United States, IREX, Iliad Reader is one at this point, Cyborg. There's various out there that are available to read ePUB natively. But if you go across the top, you'll see what happens when the ePUB goes into a distributor or into a compiling machine. I'll use Kindle as the example. ePUB goes, it's compiled into a multi-pocket format, and then that multi-pocket format essentially broken one level further and converted into Kindle format. That's how ePUB was intended to be used. And that's it for now. We will have questions afterwards.